What is up, everybody? Welcome to a very impromptu Q&A. Hit 70K a couple of days ago, so thank you so much for helping me get there. It's an awesome benchmark. It's an awesome little achievement on the way to 100K, baby. Hopefully, we'll get there by the end of this year. Got every bit of confidence that we will. I was planning on doing a Cobra Kai character ranking today, but unfortunately, the Cobra Kai content's just not performing all that well, which, I mean, sometimes that happens, but I just three videos underperforming is enough. I don't want to do four and continue to hurt the algorithm on the channel. That's the ugly truth, unfortunately. If I did a video today and threw caution to the wind and just said fuck it, I'm going to do it anyway, and it only gets 2,000 views like the last one did, then whatever I do for the rest of the week is going to be impaired by that. That's just the way that YouTube works. So unfortunately, gonna have to scrap that video. But we'll be moving on for the rest of the week. I've already got the plan for the rest of the week. I'm gonna put it out tomorrow, like I usually do. We've got Scream coming out. Try 12 underperformers. Listen, motherfucker, I've messaged you like 3 times on Facebook and haven't heard back. I'll be popping in randomly. But no, we got for the next week, obviously we got Dexter that's going to be closing out tomorrow with either a series or a season finale. I have no fucking idea what to expect, but final episode of this season or series of Dexter. Then we've got Die Hard 3. We've got Dexter, the seasons ranked. My birthday is on Wednesday, so I'm going to do what I've been doing the past couple of years. I'm going to do my favorite horror film from every year of my life, which would be a fun video. On Thursday, me, presumably CP, if he's awake and conscious. And I'm trying to get Sean Chandler as well to do a spoiler talk on Dexter New Blood. And then we've got Scream for the rest of the week and some Scream rankings. So should be a fun week. I'm assuming you guys can hear me, by the way. I don't have my headphones plugged in. When I'm by myself, I don't need them, but it seems like everything's good. Already got a super chat. Thank you, Justin. Hey, Cody, if you had to pick between these four for the next Spidey villain, who would you like? Kingpin, Chameleon, Craven, or Hydro Man? No CGI effects. I want to see Craven. I want to see Craven, a Craven the Hunter movie. I mean, they've got that storyline coming for Spider-Man 2 on the PS5, and I cannot wait for that. So Craven's just a really cool villain, a guy that knows who Spider-Man, I think he knows who Spider-Man is, but maybe he finds out. But the greatest hunter in the world trying to take down what is now the greatest prey in the world. I think that's a badass storyline. So I want to see that. We've seen a lot of the classic Spider-Man villains already. We haven't seen anything from Craven. Oh, thank you so much, Amanda. Hey, dude, happy birthday. Yeah, 32. Thank you so much. $100. That is awesome. I appreciate it. But yes, turning 32 on Wednesday. 31, 32, that shit doesn't matter, but it's funny. 30 felt weird. 30 is the only birthday I had where I was just like, oh, I'm fucking old. I'm breathing differently. What's going on? And then 31 wasn't shit. So I imagine 32 won't be shit either. But thank you so much. That's very generous. I appreciate it. Chase Ward, let's hope Scream is good so we can have a good birthday movie. I'm telling you, dude, I never get a good birthday movie. The only time that I get a good birthday movie is if something awesome carries over for the Oscar season where they release it like in limited theaters in January to make it into, or they release it in limited theaters the year previous, and then they release it wide sometime in January. The last time for me was Live by Night with Ben Affleck, which I know a lot of people didn't like, but I like that movie quite a bit. That's the only chance I ever have of having a good birthday movie. Otherwise, I get those fucked up January horror movies. I'm just like, ugh, I guess I'll go see Escape Plan 2 for my birthday. But yeah, pretty awesome. Scream. I'm surprised at the early response that it's getting. Everybody across the board is saying that it's fucking awesome. So I'm excited. Very excited. No, it's not my birthday today, Jason. It's on the 12th. Thank you. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. Let's see. All right. Oh, hang on. Oh shit. Starting to scroll too much. Trey, Cody, are you going to review the Underworld series? I don't know. I reviewed the last one when it came out. I like that movie series more than most, especially the first 3. So it's a series that I would like to give my thoughts on at some point. I do want to do a month or so of vampire and werewolves, and we've been talking for a while about trying to squeeze out a 31 on 31 vampire and werewolves. That's probably going to be next year if that happens at all. So probably not this year, but whenever we do decide to do that, me, Brian, and CP decide to do vampires and werewolves for the 31 on 31, and Sean, I'm assuming. I'll probably do it that month, kind of leading up to that. But yes, I would like to talk about that series at some point because I love the first two movies. I enjoy the third one. I really just don't like the last two, but I think the other ones are really good. Which Die Hard on a blank movie was your favorite? Mine is Passenger 57. Probably Die Hard on a bus, which is Speed, but I don't even think that really makes sense. I never thought of Speed as any kind of a Die Hard ripoff, but everybody calls it that, so I would say Speed. Daniel Skinner, me and my friend Joseph are going to see John Carpenter's The Thing on Tuesday night in theaters. I'm jealous. Looking forward for the experience. Yes, I'm very jealous. Very jealous. Exactly, CP. I get fucked every year. And as a kid, I never understood it. I'm like, why do all my birthday movies suck? It's not fair. It's not fair at all. Isaiah Edwards, hey Cody, which Die Hard on a blank movie was your favorite? Oh, I just answered that. Sorry, didn't know you had to super chat it. I did it for free. Thank you though. Have you watched Platoon yet? If not, what is your excuse? My excuse is that I'm too busy watching movies that I've seen 100 times. No, I have not seen it yet. This year, hopefully, I'll be able to watch a lot more movies that I want to watch. I've had an issue for a while where, especially now that I'm going full time, to where anytime I have free time to watch something, I'm always thinking work. I'm like, man, I got to rank this stuff next week. I better start watching these, or man, I need to watch this. And it's never like I still enjoy it, but it's never like, man, what's a movie that I haven't seen? I need to start building my repertoire a little bit. It's always work related, but I'm hoping this year with 2022 looking a little bit light on movies actually until at least the second half of the year that I'll be able to watch a lot more that I have on those shelves that I have not seen. Amanda with another 20, paying $20 more to tell you Halloween 2 sucked. Well, you got to specify which one. So you got to pay another $20 now to tell me which one. I'm just kidding. Don't please. But no, the Halloween 2 was it 1981 or Halloween 2 Rob Zombie? Which one are you talking about? Because I like both of them. But thank you, Amanda. I'm just joking. Matt with $9. Thank you so much, sir. Uh-oh. Happy birthday. Well, happy early birthday, but thank you. I know the Batman is your number one most anticipated movie of 2022. That it is. And rightly so. Do you believe the film will make $1 billion? Easily. Easily. If it doesn't make $1 billion, something is very wrong. Very wrong. I mean, I know Spider-Man got a lot of excitement because of the concept and because everybody was seeing all these villains and they knew that Toby and all of them were probably going to show up. So that definitely has a lot of it's got kind of that end game power where it's a lot of built up storyline and movies and everything like that. But Batman should always be a box office behemoth. And I don't think Batman v Superman counts against it. There was a lot of reasons why that didn't perform well. But yes, if Matt Reeves' The Batman comes out, especially if it's reviewed well and does not at least cross $1 billion, DC is going to shit a brick. As will I. Wayne, how's it feel being a full-time YouTuber? What's the worst film franchise you've ever seen, and how would you change them given the chance? It's nice being a full-time YouTuber. I'm still not quite used to the daily routine. Yesterday, I would have swore up and down it was Thursday to the point where I called and made a haircut appointment for me and my son, online. I made an appointment for Friday the 7th, thinking that it was the next day. And then I got invited to a stream that I'm going to be doing after this Q&A, and it was going to be the same time. So I went to go cancel it, and it wouldn't let me. So I called the place, and I'm like, hey, I made an appointment for tomorrow. I need to cancel it. And they're like, well, you made it for today. And I was like, something's going wrong. Then I was trying to make it for tomorrow. And it took until I called my wife and was asking her about something for work tomorrow. And she's like, I don't fucking work Saturdays. So my days during the week really bleed together. But I do like the fact that I get to sleep a full 8 hours. I do like the fact that I get to work at my own pace, whether or not I want to grind like hell or take an easy day. My stress levels is way down. My happiness level is way up. So yes, I enjoy it. What's the worst film franchise you've ever seen? The first one that comes to mind is Wrong Turn. It might not be the worst ones I've ever seen. Not that I really dive into the real garbage movie series, but that one was rough. That was rough to get through. And how would I change them? I think they changed it very well with the reboot. So go along with that and make some more of those. Michael LaRose, love these lives. Thoughts, advice on starting streams like a 31 on 31 or Autop stream with my friends. Also any excitement on Morbius. Little to no excitement for Morbius, especially the more that they keep delaying it. It looks cool. It might be cool. I'm not the biggest Jared Leto fan in the world, but yeah, we'll see when it comes out. Advice on starting streams: just get some people that you know, that you trust, that you have fun with, and that you have a good on-screen presence with, and that's really it. Just do it somewhat regularly, once a month, bi-monthly, anything like that. There's not really a whole lot to it. It just all depends on the people you surround yourself with, honestly. Odds on being able to switch between Peter and Miles in the Spider-Man 2 game? Probably not. I think that they have plans to where you're going to get one uh Spider-Man game, Peter Parker game, and then the next year you'll get a Miles Morales game, and they'll probably stagger it like that, which is very smart. But I mean, I could be wrong. They could switch between both of them. I mean, you played as Miles here and there in the first Spider-Man game, so we will see. But I hope it stays Peter centric. I don't want them to have to share the screen every game. I think Miles Morales works just fine in his own stories, as does Peter Parker. Hey Cody, my favorite movie of all time is Avatar. Can't wait for your Avatar 2 review if it comes out this year. Would you review the first Avatar? If it comes out this year, yes, I will review the first one leading up to the second one for sure. And I haven't seen it in years, but I've always liked the first Avatar. I thought it was pretty damn good. John with $50. Thank you, man. Cody, this is a gift for things like your Breaking Bad reviews, giving me something to listen to and keep me sane while working in assembly line a couple years ago. Happy birthday. Well, I appreciate it, man, very much. I'm glad that I can make the 9 to 5 grind go a little bit faster for you. And yes, Breaking Bad is the shit. Clown House, have you seen? No, and I probably never will, honestly. Jeepers Creepers has the benefit that I watched that for years and fell in love with it before I knew the details of Victor Salva. Going back and watching a movie that he made that I've never seen before, especially the one where said event happened, I don't think I would ever enjoy it. Even if it was an awesome movie, I would never be able to get into it, nor do I want to support it. Let's see here. I don't think I'm caught up. You know the Rob Zombie one, Cody. I know it's awesome. That's all I know. I know I'm on an island with that one. Joseph Walters, did you watch wrestling? And if so, do you plan on reviewing the games on your new channel? My favorite is No Mercy on N64. Happy early birthday, dude. Well, thank you. No, I never really watched wrestling. I mean, wrestling was really big when I was in grade school. That's when The Rock and Stone Cold and all of them were really coming up. So that was kind of, to me, that felt like the most popular era of wrestling, but that's a totally ignorant statement on my part because I've never really gotten into it. I played a few wrestling games back on like the PS2. Shut Your Mouth, I think, was the one that I played the most, and I enjoyed it, but I've never played one since. So no, I won't be reviewing any of those games on the new channel. I mean, unless they come up with a new one that I might want to check out. I don't know, but I think that's something that was fun for me in a certain era where I was playing couch co-op and couch versus with some of my friends. I don't think I would enjoy that as a single player experience very much. I think the 90s and the early 2000s were where those types of games really shined, and I don't think they would work nowadays. Yeah, exactly, Sky. Exactly. That's yeah. I can't watch the movie knowing that. Big K, I like you, man. So this is what I'm going to do. Here's $50. That's right. 30 American greenbacks, 20 of my hard-earned money, $10 just for you. Here you go. All right. Thank you so much, Big K. Appreciate it. What is your opinion on the Flash rumors? I assume you mean the fact that it's going to delete everything that came before and take out Ben Affleck as Batman forever, which I already pretty much expected this was it for him. And I think I expected it was it for him with Justice League. So I'm kind of just glad that I'm getting him one more time in the Flash, but also getting rid of Henry Cavill. I mean, it's not super surprising to me. I mean, me and Durbin have been talking about this for a couple of years now on State of the DCEU, that they're clearly moving in a new direction. They're clearly trying to distance themselves from the first couple of years of movies in the DCEU. And so the Flash is like a built-in reset button. So it just makes sense if they're going to do it, they're going to do it in the Flash movie. The only thing that pisses me off is if they do something that really does get rid of Henry Cavill as Superman forever, because I love him as Superman. And I don't understand at all why they're not making movies with this guy. Like, it's not like he's scorned at the studio. It's not like he supported Zack Snyder and shit all over WB. He's been pretty Switzerland, although he has supported Zack Snyder, which too fucking bad. I mean, so has Jason Momoa, and so did fucking Ezra Miller. So did Gal Gadot. So, I mean, you can't hold him accountable and not hold them accountable for something stupid like that. You fucked up. Own it. But I think he's amazing as Superman. The fact that he has not gotten a standalone Superman movie sequel is just, it's a crime to me. And so I understand them doing something to get rid of Ben Affleck because they already have a new Batman coming out. They have a lot of plans and a lot of things in motion. They're not looking backward at Ben Affleck, but we haven't done shit with Superman. So that's the only thing that's going to piss me off is if something in the Flash says, okay, guys, this is it. No more Henry Cavill forever. That's written in stone. Now we're going to do Michael B. Jordan's Superman and all this other stuff, which I love. I love Michael B. Jordan. Don't get me wrong, but Henry Cavill deserves another movie, a couple of movies, but at least one more. Rant. Thanks. My goal is to make a video with you one day. Well, I appreciate it, man. Let's see. Will you rank the 11 seasons of The Walking Dead later this year? It's a possibility. That's the only time, if ever, that I will do a ranking of The Walking Dead, but it's going to be a lot of work to get to that point, and I don't know how well that video would perform. I would assume that it would perform well because it's horror-based, but I would have to watch like the last 4 seasons to get caught back up, and I don't think I'm going to enjoy catching back up that much, so I don't know. I'm going to try. I have every intention to do it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it sneaks up on me like James Bond did, and then I try to binge it, and I'm like, nope. Tapping out. So we'll see. You always bitch about GNR because of some of those songs being massively overplayed, but what is the difference between that and Metallica? They are the same way. The same? No, not exactly. GNR lives their entire legacy off of Appetite for Destruction, both on the radio, both in their tours, everything. They haven't released new music. And you can't really count Chinese Democracy. I mean, let's be honest. They just tour and live on through that one fucking album. Metallica definitely has songs that are way overplayed on the radio. Pretty much every song that's a hit from Black Album is overplayed. To the point where I hate when Metallica comes onto the radio because I'm like, how many fucking times are you going to play Enter Sandman? So I understand your comparison, but you're not quite understanding what I'm talking about. GNR lives off of one album and they just ride that until the fucking wheels fall off. Metallica's still producing music. They've made albums since the Black Album, and they're continuing to make albums. So it's not quite the same thing for me. Hopefully that clarifies it. What is your favorite skit opening to a review that you've filmed? I'm still very fond of Scream 2. That one still makes me laugh when I watch it, where I beat the shit out of Ghostface. That's a pretty fun one. Oh, man, Amanda. Very generous. Thank you. Everyone in favor of Cody watching Squid Game say aye. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Thank you, Amanda. Chi-Town Juggalo. Cody, can you please do reviews for the Harry Potter franchise? I'd love your take on them. Well, I guess now's a good time as ever to tease a little idea we have. It's not written in stone. It's pretty close to being written in stone, but we have talked, me, Brian, and CP and Sean, about different ideas for 31 on 31 this year, aside from whatever horror theme we decide to do, which is already written in stone. I've already teased it in my previous video, my previous 31 on 31. But we have an idea for 2 more this year. And one of them is a fantasy 31 on 31, which admittedly is way out of my wheelhouse. And that's kind of why I wanted to do it. Because I've only ever seen Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I've only ever seen Fellowship of the Ring. And so when you add up the Harry Potter films, the Lord of the Rings films, the Star Wars films, and the Chronicles of Narnia films, you get 31. So possibly, strong possibility, whenever the newest Fantastic Beasts movie comes out, you'll get a fantasy 31 on 31 from all of us. And if that is written in stone, I will likely do, maybe, I don't know if I'll do a review series, but I'll at least do a ranking of the Harry Potters by themselves. I'll do something leading up to that. So there's just a little tease for you. And there's one more idea I'm not even going to tell you about that's pretty exciting too. Pinocchio's Revenge. Just read my name and watch my movie. Congratulations on 70K with you. Been with you since single Ks. Pinocchio, you wait your damn turn. Mike Irish, Batman Begins is better than The Dark Knight, just my opinion. I agree. I'm on an island with you, but I enjoy it more. Miss Mount, hi Cody, love your channel. My personal favorite 80s, 90s B horror trilogy is Basket Case. Have you ever seen those films? If so, your thoughts. I have not. I've never known if I was actually going to like it or not. I had everybody in the world throw that in my face when I said that Malignant was pretty unique. And they're like, what the fuck? You ain't seen Basket Case? Fucking guy reviewing horror, ain't seen Basket Case? Yeah. Yeah, I am. So eventually I'll see it, but no, I haven't seen them. Wrath of Man was great. Just watched. Guy Ritchie hit or miss, but I liked it. Guy Ritchie's been on a roll here lately, and yeah, Wrath of Man was damn good. I really liked that one. CBMF, what's up, Cody? What are you most looking forward to making in 2022? Happy early birthday as well. I'm really looking forward to seeing how I'm going to build out the gaming channel. It's going to be a different world, and it's going to be a little bit of a different approach. So it's going to be challenging, interesting, a bit of a learning experience, and hopefully some fun. So I'm most looking forward to that. I'm sure there's going to be some awesome ideas that I'll have for the main channel as well to kind of break from the normal reviews, rankings kind of thing. But as of right now, I don't have anything I can say specifically. But I am excited about doing the gaming stuff a little bit more. Rob Zombie's H2 is the shit. Do you believe the Amazing Spider-Man hype? The Spider-Man hype in general frustrates the fuck out of me. And I've said this before because Spider-Man fans just never know what the fuck they're talking about half the time. I mean, you have the Raimi movies came out and everybody and their mother loved those movies. Then you had the Amazing Spider-Man came out, and at least in my experience, it seemed like everybody loved that movie and said, this is the best Spider-Man ever. And those fucking Raimi movies suck. And then Amazing Spider-Man 2 comes out, and all of a sudden everybody hates him. And then Tom Holland comes out. This is the best Spider-Man we've ever had. Those fucking Raimi movies and the Amazing Spider-Man movies suck. And then now we get No Way Home, and it's just like, man, the Amazing Spider-Man movies were the best. We deserve to have a third movie. And it's like, you guys never know what the fuck you want. You never know what you like and what you dislike. Andrew Garfield deserves a third movie. I will say that. I would have said that even when The Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out. I thought that was way too soon to cut the legs off of that franchise and start, but you had the timing of the MCU. For better or worse, they had to do that. But the hype with everybody just changing their mind on a fucking dime every time a new movie comes out frustrates me. But I do hope that he gets a third movie. I think that there's more than enough room for two Spider-Man. I would love to see a fourth movie with Tobey Maguire. I just don't think it's as likely because Andrew Garfield definitely still has unfinished business, if you will, as Spider-Man, where the Raimi trilogy, I think, wraps up pretty satisfyingly, even if we never get a fourth one. Let's see here. John Doe, when Jackass 4 comes out, are you going to review it? I don't know. I don't know how you review a Jackass film. I'll see it, but I mean, how do you review that? You know what I mean? I mean, when you review a movie, you're going to talk about the story and how it's shot and the character development and how the three acts come together. When you go see a Jackass movie, all you can say is it was funny or it wasn't. It was gross or it wasn't. And so I don't know. I would have no idea how to approach a Jackass review. You know what I mean? So probably not. Metallica does live off nostalgia of the 80s and 90s. I mean, every band lives to a certain degree off of their heyday, off of their greatest era. But my point is, GNR doesn't do anything new. They're not making new albums. They've been touring with Slash for years now, and they're not making anything new. Metallica has been making albums ever since the 90s. So I don't think it's a one-to-one comparison at all. And that's the last I'm going to say on it because I'm going to get frustrated. Top 5 or 10 favorite gigs, live bands. Top 5 live band. I mean, I haven't seen a ton of them, so I don't know if I could do a top 5. I can tell you that Judas Priest is way better live than they are on the album, and they're amazing on the album, but they sound way heavier and way tighter live, which is a rare thing. I think that Stained is fucking incredible live. Seether is incredible live. Godsmack is pretty damn good, although their on stage show frustrates me a little bit sometimes because they'll do these musical breakdowns for like 10 minutes straight and they're just doing drop D and drop C chords, and it's like, guys, that's not impressive. Anybody that knows how to play guitar knows that you jamming around on open bar chords for 10 minutes is not impressive. Stop. Do a solo break or something like that with Tony. Like, So they frustrate me a little bit live, a little bit. But Alice Cooper is a fucking awesome live show. Who else have I seen that's amazing? Hailstorm, I've seen them twice. They're fucking awesome live. She sounds great live. That's probably it, honestly. I haven't really seen a band that's bad live. Rob Zombie's awesome live. I mean, obviously he's not the best singer in the world, but you go to see him for the energy in the stage show. And just like Alice Cooper, he puts on an awesome show. So I have not really seen a bad concert, honestly. The only concerts that I would even say are like on the bottom for me is just bands that perform well on stage, but don't really seem to be doing anything beyond that, if that makes any sense. Like they're not really interacting with the crowd in a meaningful way. There's not anything cool about their stage show that makes it stand out. It's just like, okay, they sound pretty good like they do on the album. Moving on. Let's see here. Kevin L., if someone gave you $1 million to watch Freddy's Dead every day for the rest of your life, would you do it? If not, how about for 1 billion? Why with the constant Freddy's Dead questions, guys? Why? I have no fucking idea. For $1 billion, would I watch Freddy's Dead every day for the rest of my life? I don't know. I have no idea. Mike Swift, have you played the Outlast games? And if you've played them, do you think they're good survival horror games? I played the first one. It's definitely creepy. It's definitely creepy. I don't know if I would say it's a game that I love because you can't really do anything as far as fighting or doing any kind of boss battles. In that game, you literally are just walking around with a camera and night vision, just avoiding things. So it's creepy, but it's not necessarily a fun game to play, if that makes any sense. So I liked it for a one-time experience, but I would never go back to Outlast. And I don't know if that changes in the second game. I never played it. Daniel Skinner, any plans to do a Guillermo del Toro ranking when his Pinocchio movie comes to Netflix in late 2022? Pinocchio will be a horror movie. News to me, but I'm intrigued. Possibly. Very possible. Just watch The Predator. What a movie. Well, which one? Because The Predator is the fourth one. Are you talking about the original Predator, or are you talking about the most recent one? And what a movie. I don't know if that means like, man, what a movie, or God damn, what a movie. So clarify that for me, because I agree. Maybe. Wayne, have you seen Retribution 1988? George Lipscomb and Hoyt Axton, brilliant horror film. I have never heard of Retribution, George Lipscomb, or Hoyt Axton, to be honest with you. So no, I have not. Who would you rather meet, Robert Englund or Brad Dourif? Oh, wow. Jesus Christ. Talk about Sophie's choice. Fuck, man. I don't know. That's like telling me which kid I would save. I don't know. Either one of them would be awesome. I don't know. That would be a really fucking hard choice. Cody, hope you heard Nolan just cast Josh Hartnett. I did see that. I'm very curious on what that movie is going to be. Random, I know, but how many seasons of Survivor have you and Holly watched? Holly's watched a few more than I have because she was like 2 or 3 seasons deep before I even gave it a chance. I was like, I ain't watching that stupid shit. And then I sat down like 3 episodes in. I was like, kind of like this show. I have seen maybe 9 or 10 seasons thus far. We kind of binged through quite a bit of it in 2020. And she's probably seen 12 or 13. So somewhere in there. Will you also review older games on your gaming channel? Possibly. Possibly. The problem with reviewing older games, unless it's a nostalgia piece, like if I did Metal Gear Solid or something like that, or Resident Evil 4, something that I have this deep-seated love for, and I can speak to how the game was when it first came out. The problem with reviewing older games is that it's so much more difficult than reviewing older movies. I can put on the original Alfred Hitchcock Psycho, never having seen it before, and I can watch that just fine and at least comprehend the experience that people got back in the, was it 60s when that movie came out? When you play an older game, games age way worse than movies. And they take a lot more time. So, for example, Silent Hill. I would love to be able to do a Silent Hill review series or a ranking. But going back and trying to play PS1 games, PS2 games, sometimes even PS3 games, and of course the Xbox, same era. It's so hard to get into those games with the old-fashioned controls and the way that things move and how clunky things feel, and even the way that games were designed back then, that it's just such a hard experience to really embrace how this game felt when it first came out. So, I actually played Silent Hill 2. Uh-oh, what happened? Okay. That is widely known as the greatest Silent Hill game, the best of the best. And I'm telling you, when I played it, I didn't think it was all that great. And it's not because I would have thought the same thing back when it came out. I probably would have loved it, but playing it now with how clunky and old school and how old it is compared to modern gaming, it's so fucking hard to get your mindset in, okay, I'm playing this in 2000. I'm playing this in 1994, and it's just so difficult. And so your reviews are going to be really skewed and really kind of inaccurate to a degree. Where, if somebody played Resident Evil 2, the original one, right now, they're like, dude, this game fucking sucks. What is everybody talking about? I hate this. It's like, well, yeah, you had to be there. And, I hope you understand what I'm talking about. So I want to. I want to. And hopefully there's some game series like maybe Metal Gear Solid or Splinter Cell where I can go back and kind of dip my toes back into some of the older games and be able to review them in a accurate way. But going back and playing older games that I've never played before is such a skewed experience from what the game's legacy actually is, if that makes sense. What do you think of Nirvana? Never really been a fan, honestly. As far as the grunge era bands, they're probably one of my least favorites. I know I'm in the minority with that one. I'll take Alice in Chains. I'll take Soundgarden. I'll even take Stone Temple Pilots over Nirvana, to be honest with you. I like some of their songs. I don't hate them, but I just never really got into them that much. What are your predictions for the Dexter finale tomorrow? I saw a theory that it's all a dream before he gets the lethal injection. I hate that idea. I fucking despise that idea. And if they do something like that, they're a bunch of idiots because you brought the show back and hyped it up to give us a worse ending than you gave us in season 8. Fuck that. I don't really have any predictions because I still don't know if it's a series finale or a season finale. And it's been really frustrating how they've been changing their mind or playing coy with that. I mean, leading up to this, they said this was a 10-episode revival to fix the ending and to, be a more satisfying closing for the character. That to me says series finale. And I watched the show for now 9 weeks through the lens of this is the last 10 episodes of Dexter I'm ever going to see. And now the last 2 or 3 weeks, they're like, maybe not. And I understand they can't say definitively or they'll spoil the ending if it is going to continue, but that's just frustrating for me. So now if we watch this show tomorrow and it's obvious that we're going to get a season 2, my whole experience has been skewed the entire 9 weeks because I'm watching it as if this is the end and I should have been watching it as a new beginning. So I don't know. If it's going to be the ending, clearly Dexter's either going to die or he's going to get caught. If he's going to get caught, which seems like the safer bet, because I don't believe they're going to kill Dexter. I don't think Showtime would allow that. He's too much of a commodity. And I don't think fans would enjoy that either. And they know that. So if he's going to finally get caught, I think what's going to happen is Angela. Is that his girlfriend's name? I can never fucking remember it. That's the one character in this show I can remember her name. Angela, now that she's gotten really close to discovering the truth, is probably going to discover just enough. And I would not be surprised if they brought Batista back in the final 10 minutes of the episode or whatever, having now all the information that not only is Dexter alive, but he was the Bay Harbor Butcher all along. And Batista is the one who brings Dexter in and finally catches him. To me, that would be a somewhat satisfying way to do that, but I have no idea what to expect. CBMF, would you be down for an Elm Street prequel that would focus on the Springwood slasher, especially if we get a proper Freddy movie before then? I've always thought that would be a cool idea, to be honest with you. Just a good old-fashioned murder mystery movie that ends with Freddy Krueger being burned alive. I think that would be a really cool way to reboot the series. They would have to kind of disguise it and not necessarily mark it as a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Maybe have it be a bit of a surprise in the first trailer or something where it looks like this really cool residential suburban murder mystery that looks really dark and fucked up, and then at the end of the movie they show a guy with a glove or something like that. I don't know if it would work. I don't know if it would please Nightmare on Elm Street fans, but I think that would be a cool idea. I've always thought that. I was talking about 1997 Predator. It was awesome. Okay, thank you. Yes, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Predator is the shit. As a massive GNR fan, I totally agree with you, Cody. Hey! Hail! The truth shall set us free. They are not releasing any new albums. By the way, love your channel. Well, I appreciate it, Jeremy. And look, if you love GNR, I mean, I know a lot of people love GNR. And if you think that Appetite for Destruction is the greatest album of all time, more power to you. But it just frustrates me. You made one amazing album in the 80s. You tried to do the double album thing while you were having some turmoil. There's some great music on Use Your Illusion that nobody ever hears. Don't Cry is probably my favorite GNR song, and you never fucking hear it. But they just don't make any new music, and it just frustrates me. It's just like, guys, if you're back together, if you're touring, if you're, everything's good now, make some new fucking music. Prove that you still have it, that you weren't just a one-hit wonder. Let's see. Have you noticed an absence of good R comedies the last few years? Could the next 40-Year-Old Virgin or American Pie ever fly in today's PC culture? Comedies have sucked the last maybe even decade. I mean, you might get one great comedy a year, and that's if you're lucky. Last year, I don't think there was any great comedies that I can remember. The year before that, the only one that I genuinely loved was the one with Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron. And then the year before that, I think it was The Big Sick or something. Like, it's like one good one a year. So yeah, it's been horrible. And I think a lot of it does have to do with culture, to where people don't understand that a joke is a joke sometimes. And some people actually understand that, but they just want to seem outraged. They just want to be the person holding the pitchfork because it makes them feel important. But yeah, things like in American Pie, where you get a bunch of men, a bunch of kids, a bunch of teenagers gathered around a computer spying on a woman undressing, unbeknownst to her that she's being broadcast across the internet, you would get fucking destroyed for even writing that down nowadays. 40-Year-Old Virgin, the whole thing talking about, man, all right, I'm gonna get you some pussy, man. I'm gonna get you some, like, all these things that is total realistic humor, kind of guy humor, but women can get into it too. It's like nowadays everything has to be so comfortable. Comedy is not comfortable. It's not supposed to be comfortable. Half the time you're laughing because it's uncomfortable. So yeah, I don't know. There needs to be a bit of a fucking chill pill in culture before we can get back to the heyday of great comedies. But yeah, I hear you. It's frustrating. I love a great comedy, and it just seems like you never get them anymore. Allison Changes, great nutshell is amazing. Agree and agree. On the cable description says season finale. Yeah, and they also say series finale on a couple of advertisement banners that I've seen across the internet. So they don't know. And the showrunner, Scott Reynolds, tweeted out yesterday that he has a very exciting announcement for all Dexter fans on Monday, the day after the episode airs. What do you think that announcement's going to be? Season 2, baby. And so stuff like that is just, it's frustrating for me. It's frustrating for me because as good as the show is, and I don't think it's been perfect. I definitely had some issues with the season thus far, but as good as it has been, that confusion about whether or not this is the end or not has made it so fucking aggravating trying to review it. Because trying to review episode to episode is hard enough because you have to pull out little tiny things that might not be an issue for you by the time you get to the end of the season. And so you get these Dexter fans that thinks that every episode is a fucking 10 out of 10. And so like the last episode or the episode before, I was like, this is one of the best episodes of the season. This was great. This was amazing. I really enjoyed this. The only thing that could have been better was this tiny little thing and this one scene. And I'll get a barrage of comments like, you fucking nitpick. You complain about everything. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Everything's perfect all the time. Thank you for correcting me. And so that's already hard enough to do episode by episode reviews. I had the same problem with Chucky, to where I'm like, fuck, like, yeah, that kind of bugged me in that one scene, but by the end of the season, am I gonna care? I don't fucking know. But when you don't know whether you're reviewing a final season of a show or just another season of the show, it's weird because you just don't know how to interpret the information you're being given. And it's almost been giving me anxiety. Like, as a Dexter fan, I'm like, is this it? Because it doesn't feel like we can wrap everything up in one episode. Is this it? Is this all we're going to get? Dexter's gone after this? So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting thing to discuss over the next week. That's for sure. Jack Copeland, will you review all 5 seasons of Better Call Saul before the final season this year? If it sticks the landing, I may consider it better than Breaking Bad. Well, if it sticks the landing, I'm not going to consider it better than Breaking Bad, but admittedly, I am like in love with Breaking Bad. So as amazing as Better Call Saul has been, it's not going to reach those heights for me, even if the last season is perfection. But yes, I do plan on reviewing all 5 seasons. I do want to watch the seasons before the final season, so that's a perfect time for at the end of every season just do a video. So yes, I will be doing that. Dexter's going to get away like Andy Dufresne. Well, the problem is they've done that storyline so many times. How many times has he been this close to getting caught but squeezes away? It's happened for 8 years. And so when you come back with this big final season or this big revival and it happens again, that's going to feel redundant. It's going to feel cheap, and it's going to feel like you had an ending, but then changed it and let him get away because the ratings were good, which is the same problem that got them into the mess that they got in the last half of that show the first time. Talking about Breaking Bad, and again, I know I'm biased and I'm an absolute whore for that show. Breaking Bad very clearly had a planned out beginning, middle, and ending, to the point where when the ratings were on fire in season 5, they said, this is it. This is the finale. Because this is where we want to end the show. This is where the narrative is naturally coming to a close. This is the most satisfying way that we can wrap everything up while the story is still on fire and go out on top. Whereas Dexter did 4 seasons of perfection, in my opinion. Came back after Scott Reynolds, I believe it was Scott Reynolds, left to go do something else, and tried to keep the show going because there was still a lot more story to tell. And season 5 is the example to where by the end of that season, it made perfect narrative sense and perfect narrative timing for Deb to find out at the end of that season that Dexter was a serial killer. And what did they do? They had her get him dead to rights with nothing but a piece of plastic between them and her gun aimed at this silhouette that is, unbeknownst to her, her brother. And she decides to back away and let him go, just so they can do that storyline next season and squeeze one more group of 12 episodes out of it. And that's why season 6, that's one of the reasons why season 6 didn't work. And then by the time they decided to end the show, they had no fucking idea what to do because they used the season finale storyline in season 2. So I don't know. If he just gets away and squeezes away again, it's going to feel a little ridiculous. What are your favorite cooking channels? My faves are Food Wishes, despite Chef John's annoying voice, and How to Barbecue Right. I like Not Another Cooking Show. I like Sam the Cooking Guy. Meat Church is a pretty good one if you like barbecue. There's also a guy, I fucking forgot his channel. He's like an Italian guy in New York that does some Italian food. Shit, I don't know. But those are my favorites. They're the ones that I just listed. But I watch quite a few different ones. Let's see here. Scarface or Goodfellas? Goodfellas. Hands down. Donut Head, it's pain going back to articles from 2008 that Toby has signed on for Spider-Man 4 and 5. Would you rather have had that or like what we have now? No, I think that if they would have kept going, they probably would have had Spider-Man 3 or worse, because Sam Raimi was not on the same page as Sony, clearly. And Sony was actually greenlighting and writing stories that could be a reboot at the same time that they were writing something for Sam Raimi. So they were kind of having one foot out the door as it is. I just don't think that they had creative juices left in that team. So I think Tobey Maguire could have went on, but I think that if they weren't going to get a new director, Sam Raimi would not have been all that passionate about whatever him and Sony agreed to do. So I think it was the right time to stop, honestly, as much as I love that franchise and would have loved to have seen a 4th one. Congrats on 70K. Thank you. Great content and awesome reviews. Thank you. Thoughts on new Christine reboot? I haven't heard anything legit from it for quite a while, but I would love to see a reboot. I think that that's a story that you could very easily do in a new era, because the original movie took place, it was released in the 80s, but technically it took place in the 70s, and it was also kind of riffing on 50s greaser stuff. So I think you could do a modern movie like that where it plays a lot on 80s nostalgia. So I would like to see it. Will you be doing any boys content before then? Probably not. I think I like the boys. I've watched both seasons, but I'll be honest with you, I don't like it as much as everybody else. Both seasons had the same problem to me where it started off awesome, it really drags in the middle, and then it ends pretty good. And so about a third or more of the season, it kind of feels like we're meandering quite a bit. And I got really frustrated with the boys season 2 because not the season itself, but with Amazon or whoever does the marketing, because I had emailed them numerous times about getting screeners and kept getting the runaround about it. And then finally somebody emailed me and they just sent me the first episode, when people that I know that had 10,000 subscribers, 15,000 subscribers got the whole season. And so I kind of got a little bit personally insulted there. I'm like, why the fuck is everybody else getting the whole season, but you just give me one episode? Do you think I'm going to review every individual episode? I want to do a season ranking. Like, that's how it helps me with views while helping you with promotion. And so I didn't even watch The Boys season 2 because I was so frustrated until I got COVID a couple of months ago. So I will be watching season 3. If season 3 is awesome, I'll probably review season 3, but I won't do any backlog. I won't do season 1, season 2 review or anything like that. So I'll review it and do a ranking possibly, but we'll see. Hey, Cody, congrats on the 70K. Cheers from Brazil. Thank you so much, man. Let's see. Am I caught up yet? Nope. In your opinion, why Godfather 3 wasn't as good as part 1 and 2? I would have to watch them again, man. I haven't seen those movies since high school. The first 2 movies are absolute classics, although they are movies that I don't necessarily think have the rewatch value of some other movies for me personally. Like I said, I haven't seen them since high school. So they're not movies I would watch over and over like Goodfellas. But I definitely thought that they were really good. Godfather 3 just didn't feel like it had the same focus, didn't feel like it had the same intensity in the story, and his daughter is not a very good actress. That's Sofia Coppola, who's gone on to be a very good director. But yeah, I would have to watch them to even give you specific reasons. I just remember not liking it as much, not even close. What stream are you doing after this? So assuming that it starts on time at 3:30 or 4 o'clock, I'm going to be on David Jaffe's channel. David Jaffe is the game creator of God of War, Twisted Metal, a couple of other properties, and he doesn't design games anymore, but he has a YouTube channel where he talks about video games, the news, stuff like that. And I've been following him for a little while. I watched a couple of his streams, and I tweeted him whenever I did my ranking of all the games of 2021. And after he saw my channel, he invited me onto his to do a rank, or to do a live stream talking about some of the games of 2021. So that should be a lot of fun and very cool. Chatting away with the guy that made God of War and Twisted Metal. It's pretty badass. So yes, I'll put it out on the community post and on Twitter and stuff like that whenever he schedules the stream. But that is the plan. Here in 2 or 3 hours, I'll be on David Jaffe's channel. Thank you, Killminster. Thank you, Dakota. Appreciate it very much. And I'm caught up. All right. What is your worst shark movie of all time? Mine is a movie called Shark Night. You should go watch it to know why. I don't like shark movies. I think they all kind of suck. I mean, Jaws is awesome, the original. All the Jaws sequels, don't care for. Deep Blue Sea, I like quite a bit, although that's a very guilty pleasure type movie. Every other shark movie I've ever seen sucks. I don't care if it's The Shallow. I don't care if it's what the fuck, the open water movies. They just don't do shark movies good. Jaws is the only one that nailed it. And I don't think it's a movie you can recreate either. That's a movie that if they tried to remake it, they're not going to capture what was great about it because they're going to show the shit out of the shark. So just in general, I don't like shark movies. They all kind of suck ass for me. Let's see. Forgot to attach my message on the super chat. Hope you're doing well. Congrats on 70K. Can't believe you barely had 8K when I first subscribed. What a crazy ride, right? Yes, it has been crazy. Thank you again for your super chat. But yes, it's been wild. It's been wild. Thoughts on James Cameron concentrating on Avatar over other projects? It's frustrating, but I can't tell you how frustrating until I see Avatar 2. I might see Avatar 2 and go, that was fucking awesome. I want to see the rest of them, and then not care. Or I might see Avatar 2 and went, that was good, but we're getting 3 more of these. It's frustrating because you get a guy like James Cameron who gave us Terminator 2, True Lies. Not that I'm a big fan of it, but Titanic, Avatar, like these huge movies. The Abyss I've never seen. People seem to like that one too. This guy who's made some of the greatest movies ever. And I don't want to wish this upon him, but he's not exactly a young buck. So the time it takes him to do 4 Avatar movies, there's a chance that might be it from him. And so when I think about I'm only ever going to get Avatar movies from James Cameron for potentially the rest of his life / career, what could I have gotten instead of Avatar? That's where the frustration comes in. Could we have gotten something as awesome as True Lies, as awesome as the Terminator? Maybe. And so I don't know. I don't quite get his obsession with Avatar, but then again, on the other side of the coin, it's not exactly a good business to doubt James Cameron, because I think everybody doubted Avatar, and Avatar became a fucking monster. And there's people that it definitely didn't kind of penetrate the subconscious of pop culture. Like I don't see people walking around dressed up as the Avatar people. I mean, you got the Disney World rides and stuff like that, but Avatar isn't really a movie that, for being the highest grossing film of all time for what, like a decade, doesn't really feel like a movie that people celebrate that much. So we'll see. A lot of ifs. Ever thought of doing an outside your wheelhouse review series? You reviewed Pride and Prejudice or Gone with the Wind, would be comedy gold. I don't know. See, the problem is I like to stick to what I'm good at. Not that I don't like watching movies that aren't necessarily guaranteed awesome for me. I had somebody say that they're like, you only watch blockbusters. I'm like, no, I watch a lot of other movies. But the problem is I don't really know how to review movies like Pride and Prejudice or Gone with the Wind, because pretty safe bet it's not going to be the best movie in the world for me, while others would call it amazing. And so really all it does is open myself up to a bunch of hate, if that makes sense. Like, I know it might be comedy gold to hear the old simpleton here, Mr. Slasher Movies and Blockbusters, talk about how Pride and Prejudice was boring or something like that. I could make a lot of good jokes out of it. Putting that out there just doesn't really seem like I would be really adding anything valuable to the conversation. You know what I mean? I mean, I think it's pretty respectful for me to look at something like Pride and Prejudice and say, that's not going to be for me. It's not my type of deal. It's not my type of pacing movie. It's not a story that interests me. It's just, I can tell you right now, it might surprise me, but for the most part, pretty safe bet I'm not going to like it. So why waste my time with it? Why waste the effort to tell you guys that I didn't like it and potentially turn you guys off of it when it might be something that you like? So I don't know. I understand what you mean. I understand the merit there, but from my perspective, for somebody that the longer I've been doing reviews and the longer I've been on YouTube, I really don't enjoy putting out the negative videos as much as I used to. That was kind of the thing that I thought was funny when I first started, doing the big rant videos and the swear counter and shit like that. But as I, at least in my opinion, have gotten more professional about it, I don't necessarily like the perception that I put out when I just make a video shitting on something that somebody dumped their heart and soul into. Does that make sense? I mean, if I watch a movie, I'm going to tell you how I feel about it. So if I walk out of Old and I fucking hate it like I did, I'm going to tell you I fucking hated it. I'm going to tell you why I fucking hated it. But I don't necessarily want that. I want every movie that I walk out of to be like, holy shit, guys, 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5. This is awesome. But it's just can't work out that way. So movies that I know most likely are going to be a negative review, I don't exactly look forward to it. What's your opinion on the TV show Banshee? Well, I did a video a couple months ago, my top 20 TV shows of all time, and Banshee was on that list. So that should tell you everything. Banshee is fucking awesome. It's a 4-season show on either Stars or Cinemax. I think it's Cinemax, but you can get the Blu-rays, and I think it's on Amazon Prime too. I could be wrong. It's somewhere. Maybe it's HBO Max. I don't know. One of them streaming services has it. But it's basically like a gritty 80s, 90s action thriller for 4 seasons. You get a guy who was a thief that stole a bunch of diamonds and money or something like that with his girlfriend. He gets arrested. She gets away. But he plants the money or the loot in this little town named Banshee before he gets arrested. And when he gets out of prison years later, he goes back to this town to retrieve it. And when he gets to town, he sees the new sheriff that nobody has met yet get murdered. And so he takes the identity of this murdered sheriff and becomes the new sheriff of this town while he's looking for his loot. And he goes about all of the law in the criminal way. Somebody's fucking with somebody, like a guy gets accused of raping a woman. He goes and beats the fuck out of him in front of everybody. Doesn't arrest him, no due process, just breaks his fucking arm. And so it's just a badass show. It's awesome fight scenes. It's brutal. It's fucking hilarious. And those of you guys that love The Boys, Anthony Starr, the one that plays Homelander, he's the main character. So it's awesome. If anything I just said sounds intriguing to you, trust me, check it out. In fact, if you need extra motivation, just go on YouTube right now and search Banshee MMA fighter. There's an episode, which I was just talking about, where an MMA fighter comes into this town to do this big event, and he beats the living hell out of this woman. And there's a whole fight scene at the end of the episode where this Sheriff Hood, goes and fights this world-renowned MMA star and uses every dirty fighting trick and fucks him up beyond belief. Watch that scene, and if that scene doesn't sell you to immediately start watching that show, then nothing will. I've shown 4 different people that fight scene, and they have instantly binged the show after that. Are you as nervous as I am for Halloween Ends? I feel they're going to fuck this last movie up. Well, you're talking to the wrong person, because I think they've kind of been fucking up the whole trilogy. Am I nervous for it? No. I think it's going to be along the same par as the other 2 movies for me. I'm probably going to walk out of it around 3 out of 5, 3.5 out of 5. I hope not. I hope I'm surprised. I'm probably going to approach it the same way I did Halloween Kills. I'm going to be very modest and realistic with my expectations, hoping that they surprise me. But they've been successful financially and fan-wise and critic-wise thus far. Well, not so much critic-wise with Halloween Kills, but they've been successful with what they've been trying to do, whether or not I like it or not. And so I'm confused about Halloween Ends. I'm confused about why they're making this time jump when the other 2 movies have perfectly seamlessly been one night and they could have just ended it all. I don't quite understand that creative decision, but I won't until I see the movie. But no, I wouldn't say I'm nervous for it. I'm going to walk in expecting to be lukewarm on it. And so if it is lukewarm, it's not really going to be disappointing. If it's absolute dog shit, then yeah, it'll be disappointing. But I haven't loved the trilogy thus far. So I don't have enough investment in it to really be worried. I keep hearing about a Will Smith, Kevin Hart reboot of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Is there potential, or don't screw with that one? There's potential. Look, I'm somebody that defends remakes quite a bit and defends the idea of remakes. As much as I adore Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, that concept can be done again and done funny. I mean, for fuck's sake, what was the movie Due Date that came out with Robert Downey Jr. and Zach Galifianakis? That was kind of like a Planes, Trains, and Automobiles remake in itself. And that was a funny movie. It's not anywhere near as good as Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, but it was funny. Do I think there's a version of the Planes, Trains, and Automobiles storyline where Will Smith's trying to get home for his family and Kevin Hart is this wacky-ass guy that he keeps getting stuck with? Do I think there's a version of that that could be fucking hilarious? Yes. Whether or not we'll see that version, I don't know, but I think there's potential for that. So, I don't know. People get a little bit overprotective with properties that they love with remakes. They act like if the remake comes out, then somebody comes to your house and fucking torches the original movie and you're not allowed to watch it anymore. So if this movie comes out and it's dog shit, okay, whatever, you tried. And then I go back and watch the original and I'm fine. And I never watched the original just mad the whole time, like, man, they fucked this up with that Will Smith shit. A bad sequel can fuck up a movie. Like if you watch something like The Matrix and you know that The Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions and Resurrections comes after that, it can kind of bring down your love for the original movie a bit. But a remake and a reboot can never really do that for you. Or at least for me. So I think that there's potential in that. I would go see that. Thoughts on Van Halen? I think that they were revolutionary at the time, especially Eddie Van Halen's guitar playing. I think that there's definitely a lot of good music in Van Halen and Van Hagar. I don't think that there's a band. I mean, it doesn't matter anymore because Eddie Van Halen's dead, rest in peace. But assuming that they were still going on, I don't think that there's a band from the 80s that's probably more musically irrelevant right now than Van Halen, unfortunately. Their style of music very much is that era. 80s dance, metal, rock, all that kind of mixed together. So yeah, they got some amazing music. They've never been really a band that I've fallen in love with, but yeah, I guess that kind of wraps up my thoughts. I like Van Halen. Can I not send a super chat with PayPal? You should be able to. I know when I send super chats, whenever I click it, it brings up my little Google account, and then you choose either PayPal or a credit card or something like that, but you should be able to. Yeah, it's like you don't want to go out of your way to watch movies you know you won't like just to shit on it in a review. That's exactly it. I'm more than happy to go out of my way to give a movie a chance that I might not like. I don't always stick to a movie that I think, oh, that's a safe bet. I'll like that. I'm only going to see that. I like throwing some caution to the wind once in a while because sometimes that gives you some of your favorite movies of all time. But if it's pretty fucking, if it's pretty obvious that that's not for me, it's pretty hard for me to put forth the effort to watch it. Then again, to do a review, it's just a lot of time and effort for nothing but negativity. Did you ever watch the show Daredevil? It's fucking epic. I did. I'm still pissed off that they canceled it because season 3 was the best season. And I'm a little bit, I haven't watched any of Hawkeye, but I know that they've brought back Kingpin and they've, brought that universe into the MCU. But I mean, what does that mean? Are they going to continue with these characters in their own show at some point? It's not going to be like it was. I want Daredevil back with the Netflix tone and style and violence. I don't want an MCU style version of Daredevil. So yeah, I saw it. Does Cody read non-super chats? I do. I have been doing it, but when there's a lot of super chats, I have to get to those first because people paid money for those. So it's not fair for me to click through a bunch of non-super chat questions like that if there's a bunch of things that people have paid for. So I try to get through those as fast as I can, and then in between try to do non-super chat questions. But people are paying to have their question read. People are trying to support my channel and support me, so they have to come first. Oh, the albino fight is insane too. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh my God, I just realized Banshee is a remake of Blue Streak. Kind of. Similar concept. Ethan Holgate, you mentioned that you think you wouldn't like Roger Moore's Bond movies. I'd recommend giving one a go. They're more fun and campy compared to Sean Connery. Well, that's what I don't like, though. That's what I mean. The goofy campiness is what I can't get into. And so if I can't survive it in the Sean Connery era, I have no chance getting through Roger Moore. I just don't. James Bond, old-fashioned espionage movie, they just don't really do it for me. I gave it a fair shot. I watched Dr. No. I watched From Russia with Love. I watched Goldfinger. And when I watched From Russia with Love, knowing that that is a fan favorite of the entire franchise, and I was bored to fucking tears, and I knew that if I did a ranking, that would be near the bottom of my ranking, I knew I was just opening myself up to trouble. And so, unfortunately, it's just not for me. And so that goes back to what I was saying about really not seeing what I would be adding to the conversation doing that. Am I going to add anything to the conversation by saying that me as a fan, that as a casual Bond fan that watched From Russia with Love for the first time in 2020, didn't really like it? Is that really going to be value to anybody? No. All it's going to do is piss off the fans, and they're going to be like, what the fuck, man? It's my favorite movie. So yeah, I liked Goldfinger the best of the 3, but that old school, very dated espionage stuff, I can't get through it. As soon as I was watching Thunderball and you had Sean Connery put on his little football helmet and pull out his little jetpack and go away, I was like, oh, I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. And knowing that the Roger Moore movies were going to be that times 1,000, and there's like 9 of them, there's a lot of fucking Roger Moore Bond movies, I knew there was no chance. I probably would like the Timothy Dalton movies. I've heard that that's more like the Daniel Craig movies. So I'd like to give those a chance at some point, but I just couldn't justify like 30 plus hours of watching movies plus the time it would do to make the ranking for a video that might not perform all that well anyway, and I wasn't going to enjoy doing. So that's kind of why I bailed on the whole Bond ranking. James Jude, best Myers ever. I would agree. Despite all my problems with the franchise or the trilogy, I would agree. Let's see. What are your thoughts on El Camino? Well, I have a review and a spoiler talk about it if you want to check those out for all my thoughts, but I really loved it. I thought it was great. Let's see. Done with Halloween. Where is the new Elm Street trilogy? Fucking preach. I understand why we're not getting Jason movies, but where the fuck is Freddy? I don't get it. I don't know what the hell they're doing. I know there was some kind of a thing where the Craven estate got the rights and there was some disputes and all of that, but what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, slashers are hot right now. Nostalgia is hot right now. We've had a new Chucky movie, a new Chucky show. We've got 2 new Michael movies. They did a new Wrong Turn. They did Screams coming out. I mean, I'm probably missing a couple. Where the fuck are you, Freddy? What are you doing? Only song we hear other than Appetite is November Rain, which is a song that I fucking despise. I hate November Rain. But yes, Don't Cry. Both versions are awesome. I love that fucking song. What character from a past Resident Evil game would you like to see in a future game? Well, I hope Leon comes back into the fray at some point. They've focused on Chris now for 2 games. Well, they didn't focus on him, but he's been the only Resident Evil alumni so far in this new trilogy. So I want Leon to come back, obviously. But beyond that, which is an obvious answer, I'd like to see Claire come back. I'd like to see Claire come back. I've never been as high on Jill, but I like to see Claire come back. Let's see. I do not watch sports, so could not tell you. Let's see. To you, which big 3 franchise movie in the franchise is the goriest in each franchise? Pretty close between Halloween Kills and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 for the goriest of Halloween. The goriest Freddy movie is... I mean, Freddy doesn't get super gory. Either Freddy versus Jason, if that counts, or Dream Warriors. And the goriest Jason movie is probably Jason Goes to Hell, honestly. But those movies are all pretty gore-filled, so that's a little harder conversation to have about Jason. Imagine fucking up Matrix Resurrections so bad. I mean, some people love it. It's weird. Some people think it's genius. I don't get it. I don't understand what the hell they were doing with that movie. But yeah, I had no faith in it to begin with. I mean, I talked about that a couple of times. Even when I did my review series, it was like, I don't think this 4th movie is going to be any good. Matrix has already proved that they don't do very good with sequels. It was a great initial idea that they kind of ruined, in my opinion. You only got one of the Wachowskis coming back, which tells me the other one was smart enough to stay away from it or wasn't passionate enough to come back. There was nothing about releasing it now, aside from the fact that Keanu Reeves' career is on a high note, that made sense. So my initial reservations about it were very valid. Are you ever going to review The Fifth Element? The Christine remake supposed to be kind of like an adult parody. Someone falls in love with their car. I could be wrong and hope I'm wrong. Yeah, that's a little weird. I've never seen The Fifth Element. That's a movie that all my life I was told was stupid and was weird by people that I trusted. I've heard since then a lot of people love it, so I do want to give it a chance. But that's one of those films that's sitting back there that I have not popped in yet. But no, back when that was like the big movie, my dad and a couple other people told me that was really dumb. So I just didn't give it a chance. Maybe one day I'll watch it and be like, thanks, assholes. The movie was awesome. Cody, have you seen the Silent Hill tease by Del Toro and Kojima at the Game Awards? And as a RE fan, how do you feel about the Silent Hill franchise? Silent Hill tease by Del Toro and Kojima. No, I haven't heard anything about that. That was this year. They teased that they were going to be doing Silent Hills after all. I feel like I would have heard about that. I'll have to look into that. And as a RE fan, how do you feel about Silent Hill? The first Silent Hill was my introduction to survival horror. So the love and the nostalgia and the memories of being terrified that a lot of people have with the first Resident Evil game, I have those with the first Silent Hill. I would love to see Silent Hill remade. I think it's prime for a remake. I think they're fucking idiots that they're sitting on Silent Hill, not doing anything with it, along with Metal Gear Solid. But it hasn't been as strong of a franchise as Resident Evil. Going forward, they haven't been able to really figure out how to maintain the story. It's always a different character with the same concept, this nightmare world, the regular world. They always find out at the end that they accidentally killed somebody or they're guilty about something. So they had a great concept for the first couple games, and I think they haven't really figured out a way to maintain that, where Resident Evil, aside from a few missteps here and there, always finds a way to continue on in a narrative way that is cool and is compelling. But I'll always love the original Silent Hill. Fan of AC/DC or Slipknot? If so, top 5 songs. We need Alice in Chains compendium with CP. Yeah, maybe we'll do that one day. Fan of AC/DC? Absolutely. Fan of Slipknot? Surprisingly, not so much. I love Corey Taylor, but I'm much more of a Stone Sour fan. Slipknot's a bit much for me. They're a little too heavy, a little bit too much of that Cookie Monster style vocals, although Corey Taylor is one of the better vocalists to do that style of vocals. There's probably about 8 or so Slipknot songs that I legitimately like, and I've tried to listen to them numerous times. I just don't really get into it. It's a bit rough for me. AC/DC, I've always been a big fan of, though. Top 5 songs, I would have to prepare for that. I can't just do that off the top of my head. What Batman villains do you want in future movies? I would love to see Hush and Court of Owls. Either of those are great. I would like to see, let's see, Man-Bat, I think would be really cool to see at some point. I think that I've always said I want to see like a serial killer version of the Riddler, and it looks like we're getting that. So that kind of took the top answer that I've been saying for quite a while. I think that Mad Hatter potentially could be pretty cool if they do it in a certain way. You'd have to be careful with that one. And I think that there's a version of Mr. Freeze that we need to see that's a more serious take. I mean, we always talk about the Arnold Schwarzenegger one, but I think there's actually a legitimately creepy or intimidating version of that character that we need to see. Yeah, we'll start there. Would you ever get the Angel Batista beard and fedora? I don't know if I could pull that off or not. What's your thoughts on Scream 5 so far? They've been doing great marketing, not giving shit away. I mean, I'm not over the moon excited about it, not like some people are, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. I've always been a casual Scream fan. The trailer didn't really do a whole lot to excite me. It just looked like more Scream, which is fine. But yeah, they haven't really given too much away, I don't think. Can't say for sure till I see the movie. Let's see. Hello, Cody. Most anticipated game this year. Well, this is a good moment. Actually, let me go ahead and grab something really quick. I created, those of you that might not know, a second channel on Wednesday. It's called the Cody Leach Game Chamber. And going forward from now on, all of my gaming content will be exclusive to that channel. I'm going to post the link right here in the comment section. Those of you guys that are interested in gaming content, please follow that link or just search Cody Leach Game Chamber. And please subscribe to my new channel. I've got about 1,200 subscribers right now, but I've got 70,000 of you on here. And if you are going to watch gaming content, if you want to see game reviews, rankings, most anticipated lists, even live streams, that's where it's going to be from now on. Video game stuff doesn't really perform so well on this channel because it's mostly movie focused and mostly horror focused, understandably. So I wanted to create a second channel that makes more sense for all of that stuff, which I want to do a lot more of. So the only video on that channel right now actually answers your question. It's my top 10 most anticipated games of 2021. So follow that link, subscribe, and when we're done going live, go check out that video. You'll get your answers. I don't want to get into it now because I made a 30-minute video talking about all of that. So please check that out. Thank you guys. Let me see here. Are you excited for the new Black Panther movie, even though Chadwick Boseman is gone? Not at all. To be honest with you, I'm in the minority that I didn't really love Black Panther to begin with. I love the character. and I love some of the way that the Wakanda world was realized, and I like the whole legacy of the father and fighting for your kingdom stuff, kind of like Lion King storyline that they went for in that first movie, but I didn't love it. It's like middle of the road MCU for me, and I've actually grown a little bit more callous to it because everybody's been so ridiculously overblown with how amazing that movie is, getting it nominated for Best Picture and all that shit. I understand culturally that it's very significant. I understand that that movie means a lot to the African American community. And I understand the importance of it and the reason why that they would want it to be celebrated the way that it is. Totally understand that. Totally appreciate it. But on an objective level, I just don't think that the movie deserves to be anywhere near the Oscars. And so I wouldn't have been that excited for a Black Panther 2 anyway. But the fact that we tragically lost Chadwick Boseman sucks and certainly puts a bit of a bittersweet tone onto any Black Panther movie. But the fact that they're not going to continue the character, that they're just going to retire Black Panther completely, and we're never going to see that again, at least for a long time, I don't understand. All respect to Chadwick Boseman. The character is always bigger than the actor. Always. Black Panther's been around for decades and decades. Black Panther has meant something to comic book fans long before Captain America Civil War came around. And so I really don't understand. I know it's uncomfortable. I know that there's no perfect answer. And I understand that everybody involved with the movie and that loved Chad are still really grieving about it. So the fact of replacing him really doesn't sound like an appealing idea to them. But the fact that they would continue on with Black Panther movies without Black Panther just seems stupid to me. There's the idea that they're going to focus on his sister. Apparently his sister, the actress, is being a giant pain in the ass. And I'm not saying that she's wrong or she's right for this, because I'm kind of in the middle on this whole subject and I don't want to turn it into a political debate, but apparently she is very anti-vax and stuff like that. And so she's been really giving them a hard time with production, with her not wanting to follow the rules that they set forth, which is fine. That's her right. But at the same time, it's their right to say, okay, fuck you, you're fired. But yeah, the fact that it would be focused on Shiri doesn't interest me at all anyway. The fact that she's being a pain in the ass and now they don't even know if they're going to be able to produce the movie that they were thinking about doesn't interest me. And so I just don't know what the hell this movie is going to be. I don't know what it's going to be about. I don't know what the draw is going to be. I mean, a Black Panther movie that's not about Black Panther just seems silly to me. So no, I have little to no interest in Black Panther until I see something that changes my mind. Do you see yourself doing YouTube for a long time? I know anything could happen, but I love your content. I'll always support, even if it's something I don't really want to hear. I'll still go leave a like. Thank you for bringing that up. And I'm not saying that this is what you meant by that, but this is something that I've been wanting to say for a while. I want to do a video on how to support my channel that's going to elaborate this on a little bit more. I did a video on that years ago, but I think I need to make it for an update. I appreciate the hell out of any of you guys that click on videos that maybe you're not interested in to give it a like or to leave a comment. I appreciate that. But the unfortunate reality is, unless you're actually going to watch the video along with the like, you're actually hurting the video more than you're helping it. If you click on the video just to leave a like or to leave a comment and then you haul ass, you essentially just told YouTube that you were only interested in 30 seconds of this video and then you left. And YouTube, the more people that do that, they recommend it less because they're saying, oh, people aren't interested in this. They're fucking bailing before he's even got his third sentence out. I'm not saying that you're doing that. You might drop a like and leave it on and watch the whole thing or listen to it anyway. So I appreciate it. This is not something towards you, just in general. I've seen a lot of people leave comments like that. I've even had family and friends say like, oh, I just go on and click like just to help you out. And I'm like, don't do that. If you guys want to support me, I totally love the fact that you want to, but please, if you're not going to watch the video, by all means, just skip it and wait for the next one. I really appreciate the thought, but if you're not going to actually watch it or leave it on and listen to it, a like or a comment will not help. Unfortunately, that's the way that the algorithm works. But do I see myself doing YouTube for a long time? It all depends. It depends on how long YouTube is a sustainable way to make income. I mean, they could come out tomorrow and say, we're not paying you for ads anymore. Sorry. Hope you had a good ride. They change their mind on a dime on weird shit like that. So as long as YouTube is a place that I can be a YouTuber and actually make sense of the time and effort that I put into it, even if eventually I go back and do another job and I don't become or I'm not a full-time YouTuber at some point, will I still do YouTube videos? It just depends. It just depends on how YouTube continues on. I hope so. I hope so. I don't have any intentions of leaving anytime soon. Let's see. Cody, are you going to play the new Evil Dead game when it comes out? Absolutely. I'll probably stream that one too. I'm not all that interested in it, to be completely honest with you, because it looks like it's going to be one of those online Dead by Daylight, Friday the 13th type games. But I will at least give it a shot. Will you also separate your music reviews on another channel? Probably not. I mean, those are so few and far between. There's just like nothing to talk about in the world of music anymore. And admittedly, I'm pretty closed-minded when it comes to music. It's got to be rock or metal, or I'm not really interested. Aaron Lewis country being the small exception. But even within the rock and the metal world, there's not really that many releases nowadays. So my music reviews or music rankings, those are so few and far between that it would make no sense to do a separate channel. Gaming stuff I'm doing pretty regularly. And a lot more regularly than I used to. So that made sense. But a music channel, I might have 4 videos a year. So probably not. I'll just do those whenever I feel like doing them on this channel. Oh, let's see. Wayne, how long do your videos take to make from idea to filming to editing? It depends on the video. Like my average review, new movies are easier to review than older movies. I will say that. So my average new movie review, we'll call it a 2-hour movie. So if you count watching the movie plus recording plus editing, it's about 3.5 hours, sometimes 4. I can usually shoot a review within 30 minutes, and I don't have a whole lot of second takes or edits or things I need to cut out. I usually am pretty good about getting everything out in a clean way and not making too many mistakes. And finding clips to lay over the top of my video footage, like trailer clips and everything, is so much easier to do with new movies because I can just use the trailer. Whereas older movies, I have a little bit more of an inclination to find clips of actual scenes to kind of hammer home a point that I'm making or something like that, when that's not even really available for new movies. So a new movie review, I can edit in less than an hour, sometimes 40 minutes, depending on how much I talk. So I've got the process down pretty damn pat. I mean, pretty streamlined. But other videos can sometimes take 3-4 hours. It just depends on what I'm doing. Like ranking videos, if I'm doing ranking videos, like when I did my 31 game ranking, where I'm talking for about an hour, then I have to edit that footage. Then I have to find all the posters to do my little graphic overlays. Then I have to find gameplay footage for all 31 games. That can take a few hours. Let's see. The Willmeister, how you feel about Black Panther and Chadwick Boseman is how I feel about The Dark Knight and Heath Ledger. Ledger did a great job, but that's about it. The movie is overrated. Yeah, I mean, I find that The Dark Knight's pretty overrated just because so many people make it out to be the greatest thing on earth. I think it's a damn good comic book movie. And I will not argue with anybody that says it's one of the best comic book movies ever made. And I will not argue with anybody that says it's the best Batman movie ever made. I prefer Batman Begins slightly, but I understand why people prefer The Dark Knight. But when you have people that, when you try to talk about great comic book movies and they just drown your whole fucking conversation out with talking about how amazing The Dark Knight is, and you can't even talk about anything else, that's where I start to get frustrated. I mean, we have the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies that I think are pretty fucking amazing. You have the Captain America trilogy that I think is pretty fucking amazing. You have movies like Logan, X-Men 2, Days of Future Past that I think are pretty fucking amazing. And so when you start talking about greatest comic book movies of all time, and it's not 2008 anymore, and you get like 7 or 8 people that are just like, Dark Knight, Dark Knight, Dark Knight, and that's all you could talk about, then that makes me, the contrarian in me makes me want to like it less. Because I'm like, God damn, guys, it's a fucking great movie, but it's not perfect, and it's not the greatest thing we've ever seen in our lives. Stop. So, yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. I don't think that it's overrated to the point where I think it's an average movie. I think it's a great movie, but people act like it's like it's like you get a fucking free blowjob every time you watch it or something, and it's like, hey, what the hell, Jaffe? Hey, no fair. You're getting warmed up. Yes, sir. I'm always getting warmed up. Everybody go subscribe to David Jaffe. That's the channel I'll be on later on tonight. Like I said, he's the creator of God of War, creator of Twisted Metal. If you want some really interesting insight on the world of video games, which is why I like watching it, hearing his opinions from somebody that was designing these things is very different than my perspective of somebody who only consumes it as a game player. Go check out his channel and subscribe, and you'll see me on there here in a couple hours. Thanks for showing up, Jaffe. Cody, congrats. Thoughts on Alice in Chains? How far do you think they could have gone if things had been different? You're going to make me sad. If Lane Staley did not tragically die, I think Alice in Chains would still be making some of the best music around. I think the talent in that band, for the amazing music that we did get, I think the talent in that band was only just the scratching of the surface, honestly. So it saddens me. I mean, they've done pretty damn good music without Lane Staley. It's not as good, but that just tells you how great the music could have been if he was still here. And that's not a slight on William Duvall. I think he's a really good vocalist, and I think he does a really good job at bringing a new element to the band for them to continue forward that doesn't just feel like a Lane Staley ripoff. But if he was still here, man, I can't tell you the potential that band could have had. Man, I get so sad when I think about Lane Staley and what we lost with that guy. Hey, Cody, how are you feeling about PS5 1 year later? I love my PS5. I fucking love it. I love my Xbox Series X too. I've only had it for a month or so, but this generation of consoles is damn good. The PS5 as hardware is pretty fucking amazing. I love the fact that I can live stream straight from the system. I love the fact that you have really fast load times. The graphics are incredible. And the exclusive games that we've gotten thus far have all been winners. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart was awesome. Returnal was awesome. Deathloop was awesome. That's a timed exclusive, but Deathloop was awesome. And I have no reason to doubt that the exclusives that we're getting next year, like Horizon, like God of War, all that, is going to be any less than awesome. So PlayStation just knocks it the fuck out of the park with their exclusives. And this generation has been no less than that. So yeah, I love the PS5. How do you feel about The Rock's comments on Vin Diesel in Fast 10 and 11? I feel like this franchise lost steam since Furious 7, and it should have ended. I agree with him. When Vin Diesel made that whole public weird ass statement on Instagram, the first thing I thought was, what a bitch. Like, clearly you guys have talked. And what's funny is they had this feud going on for a while that looked like you couldn't get them in a room without a fight breaking out. And then there was this moment where it seemed like things have calmed, where The Rock got married and Vin Diesel reached out to him on social media and The Rock reached back, and it seemed like there was a dialogue and there was a bit of mending of fences. But The Rock made it very clear. I mean, I wasn't in the fucking room, but from what we know publicly, it seemed he made it very clear that he's wishing them well. He wishes them all the success in the world. He loves the franchise. He loves all the characters. He loves all of them to varying degrees, but he's done. He doesn't want to be a part of that world anymore. He doesn't want any of the drama anymore. We're on good terms, but good luck. And then Vin Diesel does this weird ass fucking cocky ass Instagram thing that's worded so strange and just leveraging the fan base against The Rock to try to pressure him to come back when he clearly said he didn't want to. And I think The Rock's response to that was very valid. He literally said, this is an example of Vin Diesel's manipulation. And I believe that. I believe that. Like, look, The Rock is not necessarily making movies that I want him to make, but who the fuck am I to say what the guy did? He's the most successful person in Hollywood right now. He does not need to listen to me. I don't necessarily want to see more Jungle Cruises and more Jumanjis and stuff out of it. I want to see a little bit more risky movies from him, a little bit more like rated R thrillers, something like that, something different, something unexpected. But He's sticking to financially successful blockbuster summer popcorn type movies and whatever. But Vin Diesel only has Fast and Furious. I like Vin Diesel, but he's very limited with what he can do. The Rock's not. So I would be someone that would tell you that Fast and Furious needs The Rock way more than The Rock needs Fast and Furious. And I think Vin Diesel knows that. And I think the box office of Fast 9 has him scared. And I think it has him nervous that they're going to run this thing into the ground quality-wise, and they're going to end on a low note. And you might as well put all the cards on the table and get as many good potential things on the table as you can. And so him getting The Rock to come back only adds to the chances that it might succeed more than Fast 9 did. So I understand why he wants The Rock to be there. But if The Rock told you that he doesn't want to be there anymore, and you're not going to accept that answer, publicly calling him out is the worst fucking way you can go about it. There should have been a phone call or something. Clearly, they have each other's contact info. I mean, he put on there like, your Uncle Dwayne, my kids love you. You call us every holiday. Well, then clearly you got the guy's fucking number. Call him. Hey, man, can we meet? Can we have lunch? Can we go somewhere? Can you come over to the house and hang out for a bit? We need to talk. Give one last shot. Say, hey, we had some issues. I understand this. I understand we're both big egos and there's only room enough for one of us in the room. All of that. This movie needs you. I need you. Let's figure out a way to do this. That would have been a good way to go about it. And The Rock might have still said no, but at least he would respect your approach. Calling him out on social media, on Instagram, and leveraging the fan base to beg him to come back and then shit all over him like they have in all the comment sections since he has said no one final time is a bitch move. And so, yeah, I totally agree with The Rock on that. And yes, as far as the Fast and Furious franchise, I've been with that franchise since the beginning, and I liked it even before it was the big, gigantic action blockbuster thing that it is. But ever since Fast 5, those movies have gotten a little less awesome for me. Furious 7 was the last one that I enjoyed. I thought Fate of the Furious was not very good, especially after Paul Walker died. I think they should have hung up the flag or hung up the towel, whatever you want to call it. They paid a really nice tribute to him in Furious 7. They wrapped up the storyline in a nice way. They only continued on because a lot of these guys, no disrespect to them, a lot of the guys that are in these movies can only do Fast and Furious movies. Vin Diesel doesn't really have another franchise. I don't even think Riddick is really that big of a franchise for him, although I would like to see more. And of course, all the other people, I mean, Tyrese and all of that, they only really do Fast and Furious movies. So they're looking at it for paychecks, which I understand. I don't think it works without Paul Walker. I think they've been on borrowed time since Furious 7, and I thought Fast 9 was horrible. So I think Fast 10 and 11 has more chances of sucking than it does surprising me. I rewatched Spider-Man 2 and noticed in the scene where Peter is late to the party or the play that he contemplates webbing Bruce Campbell when he won't let him in. Never caught that before. Cool detail. I never noticed that either. I need to go back and watch that scene then. I never noticed that. Miss Mount, after the Batman comes out, the grand total of Superman plus Batman plus Spider-Man plus Iron Man plus Captain America theatrical films will be 31. Just saying. Interesting. No. Let's see. Love Me Some Alice in Chains. Did you like River of Deceit from the album Mad Season? I haven't really listened to Mad Season much, to be honest with you, so I don't remember. I know Hunger Strike. That's the only season. Is that Mad Season? That's something else. I'm confusing that with something else. But no, I don't. I'm not familiar with that. That was selfish of Vin Diesel. Yeah, exactly. It was manipulative. It was him trying to get the fan base to say, please, Rock, please come back. Please, we love you. And then make him feel guilty, like he's letting down millions of people by not coming back, when the reasons that he's not coming back are very fucking valid from a personal standpoint and from a business standpoint. They need him more than he needs them. Vin Diesel was an arrogant prick. Never liked him. Never liked him in the Fast and Furious movies. For me, it was always Brian and Luke. I mean, to be honest with you, I've never met Vin Diesel. He might be awesome. He might be a great guy. I've never heard anything bad about him from people that have met him, the few like movie pundits, reporters, stuff like that I do follow. So he's probably a cool guy, but he's also a businessman. He's also the main producer of this franchise, and he's also somebody that clearly has an ego. Not that he doesn't have a reason to, but he has an ego. And I mean, you could just tell by the way that the Dom character has evolved since the last 4 or 5 movies, to where now he might as well be a fucking impenetrable cousin of Superman. That he's got a bit of an ego and he's letting it bleed into the movies. And so just that whole situation, I understand what The Rock means when he says this is an example of his manipulation, because that's exactly what it is. He's manipulating the fan base to try to get what he wants. Yes, it's coming next week. So next week, the Scream review will be late on Thursday night after I get back from the theater. On Friday, we're going to do a ranking of the Scream movies, all 5 of them. And then on Saturday, I'm going to do a spoiler review of Scream. I don't know if it's going to be a live stream or if it's going to be just a standalone video. We'll see how things play out. But yes, and then the following week, I will rank the ghost faces at some point, all the different killers. Congratulations on 70K. Always great content. Can't wait to see what 2022 brings for you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let me see here. People still ask about Lee all the fucking time. All the fucking time. And I understand to a certain degree. This is the moment that I will carve out to talk about this fucking drum dumps bullshit. I understand people that are new to my channel or new-ish that see older videos that don't understand why there's no Cody and drum dump stuff anymore. My frustration is that if some of you guys took more than a second to think about it, you would understand that the answer to your question is right in front of you. If you look at all the old videos and the last time you saw me on his channel or him on my channel is 4 years ago, it's not like we just haven't decided on a video in 4 years. So it's kind of common sense to me. I understand people are nosy and people want to know the details and they don't really have any implications for asking the question. It's not like I can fucking, go slap him in the head or something like that. So it's whatever. But it frustrates me that even if you're new, it's pretty obvious. It's pretty fucking obvious the answer to your question. Ranking of the Scream after 5 comes out. Yes. Sorry, I just answered that question before I saw your super chat. But yes, on Fridays, we're going to rank all 5 movies. Let's see here. Thoughts on Jeepers Creepers Reborn? They haven't showed much. My hopes are very low for it after 3. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to expect. See, I love the original Jeepers Creepers, but I haven't really cared for the sequels. I hated 3. 2 is okay. So there's been more bad Jeepers Creepers movies than there have been good ones. Is there a lot of potential for Reborn? Yes. But the trailer didn't show much. It was just a quick little tease. And so I don't know. I really don't know what it's going to be. I haven't seen or heard enough about it to really be all that excited about it. It does have my attention, though. So we will see. A lot of people said that was a big omission on my top 10 most anticipated. And I'm like, no, I didn't forget it. It's just, I haven't seen anything. Haven't seen anything aside from that little tease, which showed nothing. Have you heard Vin Diesel's music? If so, what are your thoughts? Didn't even know he made music. Will The Rock ever do a more edgy role or just continue to cash in with shit? Well, I mean, I wouldn't even say cash in a negative way like you have. Like the guy's a businessman. He's the most financially successful person in Hollywood right now, and it's not because he's stupid. And if I was in his place, I can't say for sure whether or not I would make the same decision. I mean, if you look at one project that you're only going to make $2 million on, or you can go do another Jumanji and make $30 million, and they take the same amount of time, I understand the decision. I understand for the sake of financial health why he's continuing to bet on these sure things, mostly sure things. But just me, selfishly, I would like to see him do other things. I would like to see him do a drama or a thriller once in a while, or do a role as a bad guy. Some of the things that he started off with, like when he did Driver, when he did the Doom, for better or worse. I know people don't like that movie. When he did Snitch, like I want to see some things like that every once in a while. But it seems like for the past 5-6 years, he's only done things like San Andreas and Jumanji and Skyscraper, and it's just like all of these big tentpole action movies in the middle of the summer. And I just want to see more from the guy because he's got a lot of potential. I think he's damn good as an actor. So I just want to see more from him. Will he ever do it? I don't know. I'm sure at some point. What must Halloween Ends do for you to love it? What is your dream Halloween film? It needs to end this timeline in a definitive way. Do not puss out and let Jamie Lee Curtis and Michael Myers walk away from that third movie alive. I understand that there was a rule with Mustafa Akkad where you weren't allowed to kill Michael Myers. I don't understand. I don't know if that's still valid or not. We're smart enough as audiences to know that if you fucking decapitate both Jamie Lee Curtis and Michael Myers in Halloween Ends, that eventually you might come out with a Halloween movie that's a different timeline, and we're not going to ask questions about, well, wait a minute, he died in the last one. We're smart. Give us some credit. So I don't want them to bitch out. If you're going to call it Halloween Ends, you better fucking end Halloween. You're not going to end it forever, but end this trilogy, end this storyline, or at least end it in a way, like even if just Jamie Lee Curtis dies, but Michael kind of maybe lives on and they're going to continue something in this timeline that now focuses on somebody else besides Jamie Lee Curtis. Have the balls to kill one of them. Just fucking do it. There's a reason why H2O was so satisfying for an ending, and everybody despises the way you followed it up with Resurrection. And it's because you bitched out. So that's the main thing. Second thing is, kills are great, but it's not enough. You need to have a good story. You need to have some good characters. And they lost sight of that in Halloween Ends, or Halloween Kills. You know, they weren't super successful at it in Halloween 2018, but they did a better job than they did in Kills. Kills was just like carnage. People got to be fucking stupid the whole movie because we have to have Michael just kill all of them easily because they're all morons. And he can't have any kind of a threat whatsoever. And anytime he gets down, even if he's getting blowtorched, shot in the face, decapitated, it doesn't matter. He's going to materialize back together like the T-1000 and stand back up and nothing's going to happen to him. Well, that just takes away all the tension because now we know he's unstoppable. Now there's no what if, because we know it doesn't matter. He's going to make it to the end of the movie. So they need to grasp that a little bit more. So that's very simple prerequisites for me, in my opinion. Do you go to the movies by yourself? More times than not, yes. I used to feel weird about that back before, like I was in my early 20s. But there's actually something really nice and relaxing about going to a movie by yourself. I enjoy going with other people. If it's a movie like Spider-Man, No Way Home, Endgame, something like that, it's more fun when you're with other people. But most of the movies that I watch, I'm by myself. I buy a ticket for myself. I go by myself. I come home by myself. Who's Lee? I don't know. Let's see. What Mission Impossible movie is your favorite? The fourth one. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol is my favorite. Very, very close second is Fallout. But I love the team in Ghost Protocol. I think there's a lot of fun back and forth in that one between Tom Cruise, Jeremy Renner, Paula Patton, and oh shit, what's his name? Fuck. Of course I'm gonna blank on that one. The guy from Shaun of the Dead. Damn it. Somebody will correct me in the comment section. I had a brain fart, but I think that they're a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun sequences. There's a lot of great action sequences. The villain's the only weak part of that whole movie. That's the one thing that Fallout definitely has above Ghost Protocol, but I just have more fun with Ghost Protocol. Will you review the 355? No interest. No. I got way too many things going on in the month of January to waste my time with a movie that I knew was going to be generic. Let's see. Are you and Dave McCrae going to do some shows together? I'm sure we'll be together at some point this year. There's no current plans for it, but me and Dave have fun. Let's see. I know somebody's correct. Simon Pegg. Thank you. I had to go down to the bottom and see what the name was that I was blanking on. Let's see. I don't know if The Rock can be in an edgier movie. If he's in a thriller, who the hell is going to try to murder him or something like that? It's just not really feasible. I understand that to a certain extent, but I mean, you could have said the same thing about Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I think Arnold Schwarzenegger worked pretty well in movies like End of Days. So I think there's a way to do it. He just can't be the big, muscular, over the top cartoon character that he is in Fast and Furious. He has to be a serious character. I mean, he's in shows like Ballers and stuff like that where he's playing a serious role. So I think it would be easier than maybe you're thinking, but we'll see. We'll see. What's a movie that when you first watched it had a completely different experience watching the second time, not the Nightmare remake? The Evil Dead remake, I did not like when I saw it in theaters, and I loved it when I watched it a couple years later at home. Wasn't a completely different experience, but I was just okay on Malignant when I saw it in theaters, and I fucking love that movie now. So that's a movie that grew on me a lot after I rewatched it and thought on it and kind of absorbed it a little bit, thought on it more. What's another one? The Matrix Reloaded is a movie that I convinced myself that I liked when I saw it in theaters because it was supposed to be awesome. There's no way this isn't going to be awesome. And I watched it and I knew I didn't like it, but I was just like, that was good, wasn't it? Right? Everybody? Good. And then anytime I try to rewatch it, I'm like, yeah, this sucks. This is not very good. I can't think of any more. I'm sure there's more. I don't change my mind very often, but it does happen. Let me see. Black Adam, he's a bad guy. That might be it. I mean, I'm glad that he's playing it. It's an anti-hero, really. So I don't know. He's a bad guy in the comics, but The Rock's going to play him, and he's probably going to be a little of both. We'll see. But that's still a big summer blockbuster comic book movie. So that's only like a little bit of what I'm asking for. When I say I want him to be a villain, I mean something like Kevin Spacey in Seven or something like that. You know what I mean? Like not quite to that degree, but you know what I mean? I want to see him play a rated R bad guy, a thriller, a murder mystery, something different. I haven't watched Red Notice. Honestly, I didn't have much interest in it. Still can't believe that Texas Chainsaw keeps doing the same plots over and over, and this new one is no exception. That's what I don't understand why everybody's so excited for it. Like, I appreciate the eternal optimism in you Texas Chainsaw fans, but we've been here before. Like, what's the premise of the new Texas Chainsaw? It's been 40 years since the first film. In a world where Texas Chainsaw has not been seen in 40 years. So it's been 40 years since the original movie, and now people are going to discover the Sawyers or discover Leatherface, and it's an old man version. That's literally what we did in Texas Chainsaw 3D. He may not have been visualized as this older guy, but per the timeline, he was pretty fucking old. They've rebooted this franchise in one way or another like 6 times at this point. There's nothing left to do that's all that great or all that different than the other movies. The only one that got it right was the remake, in my opinion. So yeah, this movie might surprise me. I might watch it and say, damn, that's actually one of the better ones. I think that's a high bar, but it might be one of the better ones. But on paper, there's no reason to be excited for this. If Fede Alvarez was directing it, I would be so excited for it. But he's just a producer. And producer can mean a lot of things. It could mean that he is the main creative voice that's telling the directors what you need to do, or it could mean that he dropped off cupcakes one day on set. You could literally have just barely done anything and get a producer credit. So yeah, I hope that it's awesome. I'm not hoping that I walk into this and say, told you so. I hope I walk out and I'm surprised. And I'm like, holy shit, guys, that was good. But realistically, there's no reason to be excited for this movie. So I'm with you. Will Skyscraper be a part of your Die Hard movie list? No, because it's not a Die Hard movie. I mean, didn't exactly hit what it was. Also, have you played any of the Die Hard games? I have not. I don't believe so. All right. Probably going to wrap this up at 2 hours, guys, just to let you know. So about another 12 to 15 minutes. I'm going to give myself a little bit of a break before I go over to Jaffe's channel. But just to give you a warning. All right, let's see here. Nothing really jumping out. Are we going to get a new Nightmare on Elm Street in the near future? I have no idea. I feel like we should have heard something by now. I don't understand why we're not hearing that they're at least looking into it, writing a script, trying to cast something. Nothing. No news whatsoever. It's concerning. Any advice for high school seniors like me? Second and last semester started, and I'm feeling horrible senioritis right now. Any tips? Don't take your foot off the gas. I know that you're on the way out, so you're focusing on what's coming later, and you're kind of getting bored and getting a little over it. Don't take your foot off the gas and start sucking ass at the end of your high school career. So just knuckle down and get through it. As far as other advice for beyond high school, I don't know what high school is teaching nowadays. I graduated in 2008. So back in 2004 to 2008, they were hammering home, you got to go to college. You got to go to college. College is the only path. College is the only way to success. If you don't go to college, your life is fucked. And that's not true. It's not true. I highly encourage anybody that can go to college and wants to go to college to go to college. I also highly encourage anybody that has no interest in college to not let people let you believe that that is your only path in life. There is trade schools. There is other things that you can get apprenticeships in. You can go into self-employment. You can really roll the dice and be a YouTuber. But there is so many paths in life. College is not a guarantee to successful path, and college is not the only successful path. So that's something that I think schools really need to change their fucking attitudes about if they haven't already, because I cannot tell you how much time, energy, and money I wasted because people hammered into my head that that was the only path when it wasn't. Especially if you're somebody that, fortunately, like me, was very good at pretty much anything that they tried to do and did not have this burning passion for anything. So it wasn't like I went my whole life going, I want to be a veterinarian, or I want to be an engineer, or I want to run a restaurant. I didn't know what the fuck I wanted to be. And if you don't know what the fuck you want to do or what the fuck you want to be, do not waste your time and money in college trying to figure that out. Figure that shit out before. Because there is some stupid ass people out there that spend 7 years in college, just like Tommy Boy, 7 years in college because they changed their major 3 fucking times. Don't be one of those people, especially with how expensive college is nowadays. Do not pay for 2 degrees to get 1. Don't do it. The Willmeister, the beginning on Resurrection was filmed literally a week after H2O wrapped. Also, while I agree about Jamie Lee Curtis, if she's killed off again, it will be the 3rd time in the franchise. Know what I mean? But it's different. It's different because the first time she was killed off, it was off screen. It was in a line of dialogue. The second time that she was killed off, it was on screen in possibly the worst movie in the entire franchise, arguably. I would say Halloween 5 is worse. Most people say Resurrection's worse. If they give her a death that's actually meaningful and actually powerful and actually an actual narrative conclusion to her story that has been now 3 movies deep, then it will work out just fine. Whether or not we've seen her die 8 times before, because the other times were a joke. I have tried to watch Natural Born Killers a few times. I can't get into it. It's too fucking weird for me. Way too fucking weird with the sitcom shit and the cartoons. It's just, it's out there. What are your thoughts on No Time to Die, Cody? Possible thoughts on the ending? I'm not going to talk about the ending because I'm sure there's still a lot of people that have not seen it yet. It was my favorite film of last year, and I'll leave it at that. I have a review for it, and I also did my top 10 movies of the year where I elaborate on those thoughts a little bit. So I would encourage you to check out those videos if you want more thoughts, but I loved it. Thought it was awesome. The Rock or Arnold? Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, The Rock has probably had a more successful career as far as quality control, maybe, but he hasn't made the type of iconic movies that The Rock made, that Arnold has made. And Arnold Schwarzenegger, while I don't know if I would call him my favorite actor, that is the one celebrity that I would fucking die if I ever met. Like, Arnold was so important to me as a kid. The Terminator, Commando, Kindergarten Cop, Total Recall. Like, I watched these movies on loop. Anytime a new Arnold Schwarzenegger movie came out, that was like the event of the year for me. Didn't matter if it was something like Sixth Day, End of Days. Not if Arnold had a movie coming out. If I walked down the hallway in a movie theater and saw a poster with Arnold's face, I was like, oh, yes, day one, bitches, I will be there. And so if I met Arnold Schwarzenegger, I probably would cry. Like I fucking love that guy. So Arnold, I love The Rock too. I love The Rock too, and I would be over the moon to meet him because he seems like such a fun guy and such a cool, grounded guy to meet. But Arnold Schwarzenegger is an idol of mine. The Rock as a Terminator, I think that there was a time where that could have worked. I think that time has passed. I think that that would be too obvious and too generic of a move nowadays. If they wanted to reboot Terminator back in the early 2000s, like right around the time that he made The Rundown, maybe a couple more movies where it was like, holy shit, The Rock's a legit action star, I think that it would have worked. I think that now it would look weird. I think now it would look weird. I love early Rock, Walking Tall, Gridiron Gang, corny now. Yeah, I like the Walking Tall movie. Gridiron Gang's pretty good too, but that's the type of thing that I'm talking about. I want to see more smaller movies in between all the gigantic things. But I get he's a very busy guy, so he has to be selective with what he does his time with. So once he kind of calms down and he's not doing a show, 4 movies a year, running an energy drink business, doing all the different companies that he owns, once it kind of slows down a bit, I think your chances of seeing him in something like that goes up quite a bit. Let me see. Let me see. Good deal. I hope you get one. They're hard to find. Thoughts on Injustice for All by Metallica, my personal favorite by them. I wish they would remaster it. I wish that they would remix it. I think that the production value on that album is absolutely terrible. Great music. It's definitely like their most epic album music wise. And it's got some of their best music on there, but I think the sound quality on it is rough, and I hate the fact that they drowned out Jason Newsted. I wish that they would remix that album and release it. Let's see. Sean on his 200K video had a good idea regarding the Terminator. Give the reins to Lee Winnell with a modest budget similar to the first. It's a good pick. I mean, the concept of what he's going for is go back to the horror thriller, lower budget version and go from there. I think that's absolutely correct. I think if Dark Fate failed, then you need to stop going in that direction. And I think Dark Fate was pretty fucking awesome. And it's a shame that more people didn't give it a chance. But I agree 100%. I've said that for a while too. I didn't say Lee Winnell, but going back to the roots, doing a lower budget, lower concept horror thriller in the vein of the first film is the best way to go about it. And Lee Winnell is a good pick. I would rather see Lee Winnell do a remake or a reboot to what am I thinking? Escape from New York. I'd like to see that because he has a much more of an action kind of brain. I think that it would be cool to see his gritty kind of cyberpunky take that he got like on a Upgrade and apply that to Escape from New York and recast Snake. I think that would be pretty awesome. But he would do good with Terminator as well. But he's on the right track for sure. Let me see. I must be behind. I'm seeing the same questions that I've answered. Let me see. Will Bob Odenkirk's heart issues prevent him from doing the late in life action star thing a la Liam Neeson? I hope not, because Nobody ruled. I don't necessarily want to see him do that. I'd like to see another movie, a sequel to Nobody. But Liam Neeson, like, don't get me wrong. I love The First Taken. I love Run All Night. There's some other ones that have been really good. But his movies are just so generic. His action movies are so wash, rinse, repeat. To the point where he might as well play the same character throughout all of them. And I don't want that to happen to Bob Odenkirk. I mean, I love Liam Neeson, respect the hell out of him, and I think he's an awesome actor, but I have no interest in any more Liam Neeson action thrillers. It's just like, dude, enough. Again, I understand career-wise, I understand money-wise why he keeps taking them, but he's done like 30 of them that could be the same movie. I wonder what Cody was like in high school. Quiet. I was quiet. I got straight A's. I went to school. I didn't really come out of my shell socially until late junior year, senior year. I moved from Ohio in 2004, right before I started high school, and getting torn away from all of my friends that I have known my entire life really fucked me up. And when I'm used to Ohio and you drop me into Georgia, to where all the kids, for the most part, are rednecky and go fishing and hunting, and they wear these big fucking fishing boots, and they wear the trucker hats, and they all got big jacked up trucks. I could not be more out of my element. Everybody's not like that down here, but at least half or more people are like that, especially at least my class was in high school. And so I just felt so out of place that I kind of lost all social desire and all social skills, to the point where I was like a fucking mute my first 2 years in high school. I just went to school, did my work, went home, and just kind of drifted through life for a little while there. I did not respond very well to moving so far out of my element. Started to get some friends that eventually became kind of my best friends throughout high school, somewhere between my sophomore year, junior year, and really didn't get super close with them to where we were like brothers until senior year. Two of which I'm still very close friends with, my buddy Zach and my buddy Sam. A couple other ones, like one I had a huge falling out with, similar to the Lee situation, that I don't talk to anymore. A couple others, kind of, you just had this high school thing where you were friends and then you guys go your separate ways, and it just happens. But yeah, I was very quiet through most of high school. I think that a lot of people that knew me in high school, except for like maybe my really close friends, would kind of be surprised to meet me nowadays and how different I am. I mean, I've always been the same personality, but I just didn't really let my personality out that much in high school. So yeah, I was very quiet, very shy, and reserved, and uncomfortable a lot throughout high school, because I just didn't fit in, and it took a long time to feel like I, bonded with people that I did fit in with. Do you do this full time? If yes, how to get started and make it on YouTube? I have been doing this full time as of the middle of September. Before that, I for like 5 years I did not do full time. It was just alongside a full time job. Um, how to get started and make it on YouTube? There's no right answer to that. Don't start YouTube with the goal of becoming a full time YouTuber and making it your job, because you're gonna go about things the wrong way. Start a YouTube channel because you want to give your thoughts on something, whether it's video games, movies, makeup, art, whatever. Start it as a hobby, start it as like a form of expression or a form of creativity and video editing, and then go from there. Get to the point where you start to actually build an audience or build a community, or start to really enjoy it to where it's a legit passion. And only then, if the money and the sponsorships or anything like that come, then you can start looking into that. But anybody that starts a YouTube channel with the goal of, all right, I'm going to start doing this so I can be a full-time YouTuber and this can be my job, I would go out on a limb and say 99% of those people never see the light of day of success in YouTube, because you're doing it for the wrong reasons. I didn't start this channel thinking that I was going to be a full-time YouTuber. I would have told you 6 months ago that I'm not going to ever be a full-time YouTuber, because I don't want to roll the dice like that. It was only after my job made me so fucking miserable that I decided to take a chance on it. And thus far, I've been very successful with it. Knock on wood. It's only been a couple of months, but that's all I can tell you. All right. We're past the cutoff point that I wanted to do. So I'm going to wrap up with the super chats that we have right here. And then I'm going to take off, guys, and try to relax a bit before I start this next stream. Richard Curtis, congratulations on 70K. Also glad to hear your appreciation of Malignant has gone up. Have you seen Scream yet? I have not seen Scream yet. I'm seeing it on Thursday. Unfortunately, there's no screeners, press screeners, anything like that in my neck of the woods. That's my Achilles heel. So I got to wait along with all of you guys. CBMF, would you be down for more installments in this Universal Monster Blumhouse universe after Invisible Man? And what films, directors would interest you? I don't necessarily think it needs to be a universe. I don't think that the Invisible Man makes sense to eventually. I don't think that that version of Invisible Man eventually makes sense to be alongside werewolves and shit. But what I would like is modern retellings of those stories like the Invisible Man. So I would like to see somebody take on the Wolf Man and the Mummy and Dracula and all of that at some point. What films and directors, I really don't know. I don't want Lee Winnell to do all of them. I think that his sensibilities as a director and a storyteller worked perfect for Invisible Man, but I want to see him do other things. I don't want to see him get stuck in a universe like Zack Snyder did. So I don't know. I don't really have an idea as far as what directors, but I do think that their approach of doing a more modern retelling, not having this action blockbuster approach that Tom Cruise's The Mummy took, like make them fucking horror movies, make them thrillers, make them in the vein that they were originally created to be in a modern sense. I would be absolutely down to see more of that. And I think we're getting the Ryan Gosling Wolfman at some point. Do you know if Last of Us TV series starts this year? Yes, it's supposed to. I don't have any concrete date or even a window, but it's supposed to be this year. I am 6'1". Let me see here. What time is the Jaffe stream? It's supposed to be 12:30 Pacific time for him, so that would be 3:30 for me. So if we start on time, about an hour from now. But I'll tweet it out, and I'll also put it on the community tab and everything on YouTube once he schedules it and we have a for sure start time. Any chance of Die Hard 6, Blade Runner 3? No and no. Die Hard 6 is possible, but it's not going to be for a while, and I highly doubt it's going to be with Bruce Willis. It's going to be like a reboot. All right. Is that all of them? Did I miss any? Let me see. Nope. Hey, just want to say congrats on 70K. Thank you so much, Chaos Mango. Let me see. Make sure I got all the super chats. Jaffe's channel is just David Jaffe. Hang on a second. I'll post. Give me a second, guys. I will post the link right here in the comment section. There you go. There is the link to David Jaffe's channel. That's going to be it from me, guys. So subscribe to Cody Leach Game Chamber. That is my new channel that I'm going to put on my gaming content going forward. There's only one video on there right now, but check out David Jaffe's channel. Hit the subscribe button on that. I will see you guys over on that channel in about an hour or so. But thank you guys so much for getting to 70K, for helping me get there. Hopefully we'll get to 100K this year. That would be awesome. Thank you for all the super chats. You guys were very generous today. And I appreciate all the questions and all of the shooting the shit. It's always fun. Sorry for Cobra Kai fans if you're disappointed with canceling that video, but it didn't make any sense for me to keep doing it if less than 10%, less than 5% of my fan base was actually watching it. So I appreciate you guys very much. Thank you. I will see you again. If not on the David Jaffe stream, I will see you tomorrow with the series or season finale of Dexter. So we will see you guys next time. Have a good Saturday.